What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back. And it's never too early to do a future mock draft. It's always something that we do in the week following the 2020 NFL draft. It starts to be like a way like Bleacher Report, and everything's getting all the new mock drafts. And the Draft Network even already has their mock draft simulator here geared up and ready to go with obviously early projections for the big board and some really good players. I think you could debatably say, everyone always says this, right? You always kick that can down the road and say, oh, well, there's more talent at this position in the next year's draft. And people always say that. But I genuinely think when you look back at last year's draft, that was literally a couple days ago, people were saying it's a historic wide receiver class. I made this a little bit of a hot take about a month left. Yeah, probably about a month ago, literally. But it was like with about a month left to go into the 2020 draft process. I was like, man, I'm starting to look at some of these guys in 2021. I think the 2021 wide receiver class is going to be even better. I think there's a lot more depth. And that's going saying something, because you're going to be comparing them immediately to CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Reagor, Denzel Mims, Brandon Ayuk, just to name a few. But without further ado, let's just get right into a mock draft. Usually I like to do like a quick run through to kind of get an idea of the direction that I'm going. Not today. We're just shooting from the hip. I assume the draft order is Vegas odds, probably. Current Vegas odds for who's going to go where. But either way, at pick number 1, this one's going to be an absolute home run. I think he's going to be the first overall pick. Regardless, I think a team that needs a quarterback, if it's not a team that picks at one that does need a quarterback, like Jacksonville here, they will trade up to get this man. That's going to be Trevor Lawrence going pick number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, Minshew, there's a chance maybe they get some of the Minshew. I think Minshew's going to be, like a Case Keenum kind of thing. A guy like, yeah, he can start, but do you really want him to be your franchise quarterback? Probably not, but I definitely hope Gardner Minshew does stick around in the NFL for the memes alone. Jacksonville does finish with the worst record in the National Football League last year, and they have an opportunity at Trevor Lawrence. You get a hashtag tank for Trevor. And plus, with a lot of the moves they made, Calais Campbell, AJ Boye, a lot of cap conservative decisions all across that team. Yeah, they're not going to be particularly good next season. Pick number 2, we have the Redskins here, back-to-back years at pick 2. I don't think they'll be that bad, but here we have them. Their needs are corner, tight end. This is going to be easy. They're going Penei Sewell, who might be the best tackle prospect I've ever seen. And you traded Trent Williams away to the San Francisco 49ers. The compensation was not great. Plus, there's reports that they might have been able to get a first last year from the Cleveland Browns, and they just decided to do classic Redskin things and refuse to trade him. So I think Sewell is the best tackle prospect I've ever seen. And you look at the last couple tackles that have been that generational tag. The last one, it debatably, the last true one could have been Trent Williams when he was coming out of Oklahoma. So how fitting they get another one here in Penei Sewell. Pick number 3, we have the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. They need tackle edge. They could go a lot of spots here. There's not a lot of value here at tackle. I really do think it's Sewell and everyone else. There might be a second tackle. I don't think it's going to be Walker Little. I'd probably be more hesitant to say Carmen Cosme Leatherwood over Walker Little. Walker Little wasn't overly impressive last year with Stanford. They could go inside. Creed Humphrey, bona fide first-round pick. We're not going to get that at pick 3. So what do they need? A corner. That makes sense. There's some good value there at corner. They could go edge rusher. There's some good value here at edge rusher as well. Whoa, Xavier Thomas way down there at 36. But my boy, Quincy Roche. I like seeing that. Temple transferred to Miami. Russo is... What do they got at edge, though? Their edges aren't that bad. We'll have them go corner here. I'll have them select Shaun Wade. Shaun Wade went back to school. A lot of people thought he was going to be a first-round pick. Top 15, top 20 pick, somewhere in that territory. Went back to Ohio State. Really damn good. I really do think it's going to be a 2-horse race for the top corner. Adebo, another guy that got a first-round grade and then kind of surprisingly went back to Stanford. But I do think for the top end, for guys that could potentially pay, top 10 range, because they were ranked within the top 10, it is going to be between Shaun Wade and Certain. And hey, look, another corner going at 3 overall. Okudah out of Ohio State went to Detroit at 3 overall, and here we have Shaun Wade out of Ohio State going 3 overall. I think different style of players, definitely between them, but I think in terms of ceiling, in terms of talent ability, really like a 1A, 1B. And especially with Shaun Wade going back to school, because right now, Okudah, if they both came out, clearly Okudah would have went at 3 and Shaun Wade would have went in the teens, but Shaun Wade's going back to school, another year of development. It's not crazy to think he'll be there at pick 3, even though Patrick Surtain from Alabama, really, really damn good as well. We have the Carolina Panthers next up on the clock, and I think they're going to make this selection. This is maybe a hot take. I just think Teddy's a transitional quarterback. I think they're going to find that out, especially when they're picking at 4. Get Justin Fields. Guy that fits that scheme, fits what Matt Rule has historically always had in his quarterbacks. Like at Temple, P.J. Walker, mobility. At Baylor, best quarterback was Charlie Brewer. They had him running like goddamn Tim Tebow out there. So Teddy's not going to really run a whole lot, I don't think. So for me, having Justin Fields here go at 4, safe pick right now, because there's a certain quarterback that no one knows where he's going to go. 126, Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. We may see him a little bit later in the video, but I think Justin Fields should put up another really good season. I like Justin Fields more of a quarterback prospect than I did, say, Dwayne Haskins, last Ohio State quarterback. And he went, 14, 15, 16 to the Washington Redskins. So I think everything Justin Fields will be in that top 5 consideration, but right now I do firmly have him behind Trevor Lawrence. The Jets are on the clock. They need edge, interior line. They could also use a corner. I think... What's Rousseau? He's at 260. This is insane, man. This dude had like 15 and a half sacks as, he should declare. He couldn't. I mean, obviously, we're this early. A bunch of half these guys that are redshirt sophomores, juniors could go back. But Rousseau's not really a scheme fit there. So I'll have him go Surtain. I'll have him get another corner, lockdown corner, and a chance to be the most talented Jet corner. That's a guy that lived on an island. Patrick Surtain, second out of Alabama, height, weight, speed, SEC corner, and one of the best Alabama corner prospects. I can't remember the last, obviously, they haven't had the best of luck, generally speaking. Like Drake Kirkpatrick was a first rounder. D. Milner was a bust. But I think Surtain definitely can solidify Alabama once again as a solid place to get NFL DBs, not just a place to get safeties. Pick 6, the Giants are here on the clock. And yeah, where could they go? We're sitting here. They got Micah Parsons, solid linebacker, but wide receiver. I feel like if you're the Giants, you're sitting here. I think Jamar Chase would be the selection. You got 2 slot wide receivers in Golden Tate and dude from Oklahoma that I just again we just came here. But they got 2 slot wide receivers. Your outside guy is Darius Slayton. Get a guy that's literally unstoppable. Now, we'll be interested to see if Jamar Chase can keep that up with vastly inferior quarterback play than what he was used to last year with Joe Burrow. But I definitely think Jamar Chase, because he's a true outside wide receiver, and the Giants' best 2 wide receivers are slot guys. Why not? Why not get an explosive option here for Daniel Jones? Last year, or this year, we referred to last year, but they got Andrew Thomas. They solidified that offensive line. At least they tried to. Now it's time to continue to put weapons around Danny Dimes. Detroit at pick 7, edge, quarterback, interior D-line. I think, again, we'll go Marvin Wilson from Florida State. Fits their scheme, very flexible. A lot of people were surprised he went back to Florida State. Florida State's not in a great place right now as a football program. And when you look at, let's see, we'll pop this up just a little bit so you see his beautiful face there. But Florida, when you play that multiple front that they do in Detroit, a guy like Marvin Wilson can play, obviously, 4-3-D tackle. He's going to be this draft's Derek Brown. I think he's a very safe player. Best player to come out of Florida State since really Derwin James on the defensive side of the ball. I just think that's a good scheme fit there for the Detroit Lions versus, say, Rousseau or a Parsons on the defensive side that are more suited, especially Rousseau, that's more suited to just a strictly base 4-3. We have the Miami Dolphins here. This is very easy. Them looking to get a safety or a wide receiver. What I do not agree with a lot of these rankings here, but I think at this point, Javon Holland is sensational. He is such a good player, and they go back to back. Why not get him? He literally plays like a really good wide receiver at safety. He has the speed. He does a lot of special teams things for Oregon. Can tackle. I think he really is one of the best safety prospects. Obviously, in terms of versatility, he's like Honey Badger LSU. We're talking about small school players from the 2020 draft. Amik Robertson, Louisiana Tech, kind of gave us some small school Honey Badger vibes. Javon Holland gives me straight up LSU Honey Badger vibes. He's always around the ball, a ball hawk, great athlete, versatile player. Definitely a guy that the Dolphins thought Minkah Fitzpatrick would be for them. You're going to get that in Javon Holland. Now they're back up right away at pick 9. I think here's like, why not? Let's just get some speed, some more speed. And we'll have them get Jaylen Waddle, wide receiver from Alabama. Now this is going to be, there's going to be a logjam here of wide receivers. And this is just initial perception. I think Waddle is like, he's kind of like if you took Jerry Jeudy and combined him with Henry Ruggs. And that's not saying he's better than both of them. He, like, stylistically, he's not as straight elite athlete that Henry Ruggs is. And then when he's more, he can run routes a little bit better than I think Henry Ruggs has. A little bit more intricate route tree. But still similar style player. Very explosive. Could very well be the best athlete. There's another guy here out of Purdue that I think is a sensational athlete, which we will most likely see before this mock draft is done. So it's a crapshoot, but it's going to be one of those top of the drafts where we already had Jamar Chase go. I think Waddle, Devontae Smith, Justin Ross. I think Rondale Moore could go in the first round. Chris Olave from Ohio State could go first round. Tylan Wallace could potentially sneak into that first round. It's an unreal draft class yet again at the wide receiver spot. But Jaylen Waddle here to get some explosiveness, more explosive. Because right now, one of their best wide receivers, Devontae Parker, a little bit bigger, has some good speed to him, but more of a, he's a bigger body. Preston Millions, bigger body, throwing some speed there. Throw a guy in the slot, throw a guy that can work inside out. Jaylen Waddle's like, actually the best comp. He is, when you look at Alabama, you could say he's the middle ground between a Henry Ruggs and a Jerry Jeudy. Ultimately, what I would say if I had to get an early comp, he's like if KJ Hamler didn't have the drop issues. You know what I'm saying? KJ Hamler could have been a first round player out of Penn State, slipped to the second round. I think the Denver Broncos, because he small hands, had some drops. I think Jaylen Waddle's just a better refined version of that. All right, we got the Denver Broncos up here on the clock. They need tackle, linebacker, interior D-line. I am actually going to go with a surprising pick here, but I think he would be unreal value, and I think he's going to be a big riser. Do I do it right now? I'm going to do it right. What's a tackle? Oh, yeah, we're going to do it. This guy here, he's my dude. Jalen Twyman from Pittsburgh. I think he's mini Aaron Donald. Obviously easy, lazy comp because they both came to Pitt, but he works out with Aaron Donald. He was so dominant last season. I think that if you are a team here in Denver that has a front three that you need some defensive ends. Who's going to be defensive end this year on that front three for the Denver Broncos? Guarantee it's not someone that's going to be into the long-term future. Like I'm thinking about the top of my head, they just got Shelby Harris, they got some rotational guys. Derek Wolf's gone. I think Jalen Twyman is going to dominate. I think there's going to be obvious comparisons, easy comparisons to Aaron Donald, and I think he's really. I have him on my big board here that I've been using for my draft classes. He's top 10 talent, and I think he fits great with the 3-4 there for Vic Fangio and the Denver Broncos. The Atlanta Falcons are up here. This is going to be an easy selection. They're going to get Greg Rousseau. I have not seen an edge rusher perform at such a young stage of their college career. Like, he absolutely should bounce as a redshirt sophomore. Miami's, it's like one of those things. Why are you gonna? What's really there at Miami for you to stay there? You're gonna be most likely the top edge rusher selected. Maybe that's a little bit far of a fall though. Usually the top edge rusher does go within the top 10, but I think Miami's still looking to find that replacement for what they had in Vic Beasley. They got true edge rusher, a dominant edge rusher. They weren't really able to get that in the draft. They got Marlon Davidson inside. They got AJ Terrell at corner. I think a guy like Gregory Rousseau, big time edge rusher, a guy that has legit 12, 13, 14, 15 sack potential once he finally grows into his body. Because obviously you're getting a young player. Anytime you get redshirt sophomore, they really need to take to that strength and conditioning program, or that rookie season is going to be a little bit of an ease-in process. So, maybe a little bit of patience with a Greg Rousseau pick, but it's a good fit there for the Atlanta Falcons. Pick 12, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They're looking for edge, wide receiver, tight end. This is where it gets a little tricky because who are we going to be classifying here as a 3-4 edge? Basham Wake Forest is a little bit bigger, 6'5", 275, but he's like smaller than Epineza, and Epineza wasn't getting drafted by 3-4 teams. So I think they might sit and wait here. Basham does make sense around 12. So what do you got at wide receiver? Do they really need a wide receiver? I'm always coming to that every, do they really need one? But the value is there to get another wide receiver, I suppose. Like Larry Fitzgerald's going to retire, and if they view, Christian Kirk in the slot, you got, they spent decent draft assets getting Andy Isabella. They got DeAndre Hopkins clearly. I just don't get the wide receiver, but that's what the big board here is telling me. But they could go tight end. There's some phenomenal tight end. Yeah, let's do that. That makes actually a lot of sense. Kyle Pitts, pretty much a wide receiver. Another perfect weapon for Cliff Kingsbury in that offense. Because I just remember they got the dude from Minnesota that they got from Baltimore, Max Williams, who actually loved his Minnesota tape. He made a bunch of highlight reel catches. I remember I watched one game. I had Kyler Murray in fantasy, and Max Williams just straight up dropped a touchdown. Like, it was right there, wide open, and he dropped it. It was like one of the worst drops I saw last year. So getting legit, there's 3 first-round tight ends here, I think, between Pitts, Brevin Jordan, Pat Freiermuth. But I think Pitts more so fits that style, that air raid, pass-happy style that Cliff Kingsbury's going to want to use. We have the Chicago Bears up here, corner, safety, edge. Well, they got a corner, tackle. What do we got a tackle here? I mean, what they got? Their tackles aren't brutal. Safety, they could use a safety for sure. Nazrul Dean, more of a in the box, safety linebacker hybrid. But I mean, they could have him pair with Eddie Jackson. It's a compliment. Eddie Jackson's more of a cover guy. That could make sense. And you could use him, have him come in, you're 3-4, have him come in a little bit of linebacker with Roquan Smith, because Danny Trevathan's getting up there in age a little bit. You could also pair long-term Roquan Smith with a Micah Parsons, with a Dylan Moses. That would be kind of interesting. Wide receiver, you got Allen Robinson. I honestly think that could be the move. Looking at all these things, I'm actually going to have them go Justin Ross. I'm going to have them go wideout. I'm looking at their weapons right now at the top of my head. I don't even have, you can see, this is my screen. I'm just thinking. Well, like, they got Allen Robinson, you got Anthony Miller. They don't really have, I mean, Allen Robinson, what is he, a low-end wide receiver 1? Like, he's legit, I don't want to disrespect him. I think he's a wide receiver 1, but low-end, guy like Justin Ross could be legit wide receiver 1. Pair that with Allen Robinson, who's, he's not that old. Like, he still has good football ahead of him. So yeah, we'll have them go on offense here and get another weapon. We have the Raiders. The Raiders are sitting here in the interior D-line, quarterback, edge rusher. I think edge makes some sense. Basham is a John Gruden guy, a Gruden grinder, if you will. Safety, they definitely could go safety. Again, hybrid type player there. Let's look at the big board. What do we got there with the big board here? Quarterback, yes. But I don't know, man. Now, they definitely could get a quarterback. Why is Jamie Newman right here? I thought Jamie Newman's good, but Jesus, I don't know about that high. I'm going to do something that might be kind of stupid, but I'm actually going to have them draft a quarterback. And I think they'll be looking. I don't want to do it. I don't want to put Trey Lance right here. Because what's Derek Carr's contract looking like? Don't they still got... Because there's 3 quarterbacks that make sense here. I think Trey Lance is going to be a big riser. Didn't throw an interception. He's going to be, he's Carson Wentz hype levels will be coming soon. I think Kyle Trask from Florida could have a mini Joe Burrow bump to get him into the first round. And then obviously you have Jamie Newman transferring from Wake Forest to Georgia. I could see John Gruden falling in love with the Trey Lance for sure. But I also could see him fall in love with Jamie Newman. But then also I could see them using the investment on Henry Ruggs and keeping Derek Carr in town. Because I don't know. Derek Carr is a very polarizing quarterback to talk about. I'm going to have them get Carlos. I think I'll just go with the safe pick right now, and I'll have them get Carlos Basham, edge rusher, Gruden grinder type guy, Wake Forest. What's going on with Cleveland Ferrell? They got Max Crosby. They still threw a lot of money at like Carl Nassib. They're not happy with their edge rushers. So I think just go to the well once again here. Carlos Basham is a Gruden guy, very high ceiling. A lot of people were surprised. He probably would have snuck into the first round if he did declare this year, because the edge rushing talent was not that great. It was Chase Young, and then you got 3-4, 4-3. What do they play? And Caleb Von Chaisson. I think for straight up Basham could have went there. So we'll put him here again. They could go quarterback by all means. I think if they went quarterback, I would say Trey Lance. I'm leaning towards that. I think that just John Gruden would, I feel like that would be his move. But absolutely, Jamie Newman could be on play. We just want the safe pick. I'm going to plead the 5th because Derek Carr. We got to wait and see with Derek Carr. Pick 15, Cleveland Browns. Tackle, they don't need a tackle. Interior line, yeah. I think when I'm still looking at the Browns, I'm saying You know, maybe get another safety to pair with Grant Delpit. You could also argue, I don't know. Are they going to get younger at edge? I think they could move on from Olivier Vernon sooner or later. Then you're going to, I'm going to go edge. I'm going to have them get Xavier Thomas from Clemson. 5-star recruit. I think he's going to have a big breakout year for Clemson. I don't know. I definitely disagree with where he was ranked there. I have him as a legit, almost fringe top 10 pick. So he's still on the board here. Xavier Thomas, Carlos Basham. I think Basham had a little bit better season. But Xavier Thomas, I think, might have a little bit higher ceiling. So, yeah, we'll have them go to edge rusher. See if they can find a long-term partner that's not, the back end of their career to play with Mr. Conky over the head, Myles Garrett. Pick 16, Tennessee Titans, edge rusher, tight end, interior D-line. Well, tight end doesn't make sense because I feel like they're high on Jonnu Smith. Edge rusher, yeah, I guess. 3-4 edge. Could be Roche. You could look inside. Like, linebackers are slipping. Are they happy with their linebackers? Is like Rashaan Evans still solid? I think, here would be my bold prediction. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to have them get Rondale Moore. I think Rondale Moore is a really good wide receiver, and I'm going to guess that Corey Davis is still going to be disappointing. I don't think Corey Davis is going to have a breakout year next year, and I think they're going to be too cocky to give up on Ryan Tannehill. So they're going to say, oh, we must just give him better weapons. Let's upgrade his weapons. And sitting here at 16, Rondale Moore is going to kill the combine. He is an A-plus athlete, home run hitter. He's really damn good. I think Rondale Moore definitely goes in the first round based upon what I saw. Obviously, he was banged up last year. Just look at him as a true freshman. One of the best true freshman seasons I've ever seen. So we'll have Tennessee here upgrade a wideout and help Mr. Tannehill, their quarterback. Jacksonville, another team. Two first round. Them in Miami. Florida just hoarded all the picks. Jags need a safety. They also they could go tight end. There's still some really solid tight ends here. I'll have them get Nasruddin though. Strong safety, box safety could also eventually be a line. Just a really good versatility piece. Think he's not going to be as good of an athlete as Isaiah Simmons, but he's going to come in with that question about where is his best spot. But I think for a box safety, he's going to be really, really highly regarded. Brings all the size that you want. Was he 6'4", 215, 220, somewhere in that range. So, again, that look right there. Does he have a natural role, hybrid role? It's going to be the same things that go with Isaiah Simmons. He's not going to test. He's not going to be as freaky of an athlete, but I think Jags would be well-advised to add him to their safety core. Minnesota up there, edge rusher, interior D-line, safety, running back. I think if I am them, I am looking here. We've got some edges. They're still trying to find a way to replace Everson Griffin. We can go interior D-line. There's definitely some nice. Who did they brought? They brought in Michael Pierce. Okay, I gotta Google this. Are they switching to a 3-4? Someone told me the Vikings were switching to a 3-4. I didn't believe it. Tom Capers, 3-4, both the staff. Zimmer. So it's still up in the air, because if they're going to 3-4, this is going to change everything. I'm going to make the assumption they are, and I'm going with a guy I think he's getting slept on here. I'm going Jay Tufele from USC. If they're going to a 3-4, you're going to have Hunter's going to go edge rusher, right? So that front three, you got Pierce, right? Michael Pierce from the Ravens is going to be your new nose tackle, but who's going to be your two outside guys? Who's going to be your two down linemen? Jay Tufele is outstanding from USC. And if you're going for a, make it easy comp, lazy comp, he's the next best USC 3-4 lineman, not since Leonard Williams. No. Since Jarrell Casey. So I think Jay Tufele, if they truly are, I'm making this pick under the assumption that the Minnesota Vikings are going back to a 3-4. Tufele right there at pick 18, I'd be all over that. Pick 19, the Chargers. They got Herbert. They got themselves a linebacker, so they're still sitting here looking for a tackle, which definitely, that could come out the board here. This is a tough one about who I think the best tackle is. Leatherwood is, man. It's going to be one of these four. I don't think it's Walker Little. Cosby's a little I don't know. Who's going to be more? I'm going to say we'll go Carmen from Clemson. They got Bulaga. You got Trey Turner. There's still a lot of question over that left tackle, right tackle spot. I'll just go with the guy that I perceive has the highest ceiling. because Leatherwood played a little guard. He had some bad years at guard, inconsistent play at tackle. Last year was solid and was surprised to go back. But I think Carman, just in terms of a high ceiling, I think that would be the selection there. Solidify that offensive line for Mr. Justin Herbert. Pick 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers, quarterback. Oh, we are absolutely grabbing them a quarterback. Now on Pittsburgh, I think Jamie Newman is the selection. Fits what they want. 6'4", 230, big-bodied guy. And if you want to, get Big Ben Roethlisberger's replacement, you don't want to reinvent the wheel when he's going out the door. A guy like Jamie Newman, similar style, just stands in the pocket, got a cannon of an arm, big body, durable. I'm going to be very interested to see how he takes that step up in competition in the SEC. But we'll say right now, for where we are in April, he definitely is, I think, worthy of being considered one of the first-round quarterbacks. Pick 21. We have the Colts. They need a quarterback. I don't think they're going to burn one here. I think they do with Jacob Eason, where they got him in the 4th round. That's really good value behind Rivers. So I think we'd look more at the secondary needs here. Corner, tight end. What do you still got at corner? There we go. Easy pick. Paulson Adebo out of Stanford. Nice, kind of a little bit longer corner, 6'1", 190. So there we go. Let's improve that because they gave up on Quincy Wilson, shipped him over to the Jets. So they need to hit on some corners here. Pick 22, the Patriots are on the clock. I think it's going to be safe to say they're going to need a quarterback. If I'm not a big believer in Brock Purdy, if I'm being honest with you. Costello, Mississippi State, air raid, could fall in love. I'm going to say, I'm going to do a Bill Belichick. We're going to go Trey Lance. Because Bill Belichick always thinks outside the box, and I don't want to be biased for Florida, because Kyle Trask, I don't know. I don't even know if he's the best fit for our Gator offense. So we'll go Trey Lance, a man that didn't throw a single interception as he won a national title for North Dakota State. Most likely next year we'll win a national title, but he is a redshirt sophomore, so we're very early. He could very well go back for his junior season. So let's just throw a wrench in things and put Trey Lance to the Patriots. He's a really nice looking player, though. Very high ceiling. I think he's a little bit raw as a passer right now, but that's kind of what you're getting when you get into the 20s and stuff like that. You're getting guys that need the refinement, and great system in place there with McDaniels to help develop a quarterback. Lance, out of all these quarterbacks, you're talking about high ceilings. The potential is there. The potential is there. He literally plays like Cam Newton did at Auburn, except just being a little bit smaller and obviously against a lot lesser competition. Pick 23, Buffalo Bills, corner interior lineman. I think the slip stops. We'll get Micah Parsons. Hey, you know what's better to pair with Edmonds? Let's just get another freak linebacker. Yeah, there we go. We'll make that pick. Pick 24, Green Bay, wide receiver. Okay, finally we'll get them a wide receiver. They're here. Now the conversation comes, who's the next best wide receiver? We'll have them. Oh, man. I personally, Jesus. Marshall's good. Like all these guys, I don't know how they're going to. Why is Whitlow listed as a wide receiver? He's a running back. I don't know who I will say. I'll go. I'm going to say Bateman. Bateman makes the most sense because Surratt's too easy to say he's going to be like the next Jordy Nelson. So we'll go Rashad Bateman from Minnesota. Even though I could not tell you right now, like it's a logjam between Bateman, Devontae Smith, Surratt, Olave, Terrence Marshall, Tylan Wallace coming back off injuries. But he's coming off an injury. He's got to prove that the injury didn't, he's going to be the same player post-injury. We'll have him go Bateman, who was really, really good for Minnesota last year. I think a big reason, obviously, with Tyler Johnson. They had Tanner Morgan emerge as a quarterback. He's right there at 102. I think Bateman, 6'1", 210, big body, brings great speed, and a good compliment to Devontae Adams. Philadelphia here at 25. Well, let's see what quarterback here is. We know we are a quarterback factory. We'll get Kyle Trask or something stupid like that. But the thing about the Eagles, I'm going to just say Jason Kelce retires, and they get Creed Humphrey. The best center prospect since, I don't even know when the last good, Nick Mangold. I don't know. I'm just picking names out of the hat that I remember that were really good. So there we go. I'm going to make this pick under the assumption that Jason Kelce retires. They get Creed Humphrey here. Day one starter, plug and play. It's nice. Pick 26, Seattle, corner, tackle, wide receiver. If they're looking for a tackle in about this range, I think that we'll go Leatherwood. I think Leatherwood could come out the board here. Left or right side should be solid. Probably more so right side because you have, Dwayne Brown at left tackle. Pick 27 is Brady and Gronk. All those guys still going to be there? Don't know. Do they have the successor for Tom Brady? I don't know. So I'm going to have them get the successor for Tom Brady, and we'll have them get my boy, Kyle Trask from Florida. I think Trask's going to get some lit. And this way, I know it's a little bit biased, Gator bias, but I think at this point, I would take Trask over Purdy, over Costello. If really the next quarterback, it could be anyone. They don't have the guy from Utah here or BYU. That's interesting. But either way, yeah, we'll go Kyle Trask, 27. A little bit of a surprising pick. Dallas, you could argue Dallas didn't really do a whole lot to improve their secondary after losing what they lost. So I'm going to have them get Marco Wilson, corner from Florida. Back-to-back Gator picks. I don't know why Marco Wilson's getting dogged on here. I think absolutely should be a first-round caliber corner, at least in this stages of talking about the 2021 draft. Pick 29. We have the team that may have the backup. I don't know who their backup is, if it's Jameis Winston or if it is Taysom Hill. But looking at their squad, they could go quarterback here for sure. But with the value at wide receiver, knowing that they have possession guy, right, in Michael Thomas, they're going to want to look to add a little bit of speed. If you want to add speed, it's going to be either Tylan Wallace or we'll have Devontae Smith slide stop. I think if Wallace is healthy, I like Wallace more than Smith. Seth Williams also brings some pretty good speed and size from Auburn, but we'll have them get Devontae Smith at wide receiver there. Pick 30, 49ers, safety corner, interior line tackle. Well, they don't need a tackle. They just got Trent Williams, and you have Mike McGlinchey. And the inside of that offensive line, I mean, Wyatt Davis could definitely go first round at guard. Is that really where they want to make their investment? Looking at the corners are still there. I'm not seeing a whole lot. Looking at the safeties that are still there, there's a bunch of bubble first rounders. What about linebacker? There's people saying they might try to move on from Quan Alexander's big contract. But I would say if we're sitting here, we'll get a guard. We'll get Wyatt Davis. Wyatt Davis is definitely a legit first round guard, and we'll just have them say, Mike Person. He's Mike Person. They lost Mike Person. For God's sakes, will someone put some respect on Mike Person's name? We'll have them get Wyatt Davis. Pretty much won every award for a guard last season. Pick 31, the Baltimore Ravens. How dare you say the Ravens are going to win a Super Bowl? But looking at Baltimore, edge. They need edges. 3-4 edges. If that's the case, how about we'll give him a freak? He's not, Charles Snowden, 6'7", 235. We're talking about 3-4 players. I mean, I'm looking at the DNs here that could legit play 3-4. That could be in the first round. Jaylen Phillips, depending on how he plays for Miami. Shaka Toney, Penn State. I would say at this point, you could be looking, I don't know, Quincy Roche played 4-3, and he's going to play 4-3 again, so I don't know why you'd want to gamble. So I would say at this point, if we're talking about edge rushers, the biggest needs, we'll have them get Charles Snowden. 6'7", can drop back into coverage, can rush the passer, ceiling is very high. So how about that? And then we'll finish the mock draft, 2021 mock draft, over half hour in. Pick 32, Kansas City. Still looking for a corner. Interior offensive line. There are the IOL might be the best value at this point, but let's just see who's still here. They're not going to burn on a running back, which is a little bit sad as a Canadian here. They used a pick on Willie Gay, but we'll have them get Dylan. I think Dylan Moses is probably the best available, best value. Unless they really want to, if something bad happens with Kelsey, there's still some really good tight ends on the board. So I'll just have them go safe pick, continue to add to that linebacking core, and bring in Dylan Moses, linebacker from Alabama. So there you have it, everybody. That is my way too early. Just needed a video. Just wanted to talk about some future draft prospects, working on my Madden draft classes, 2021 mock draft. Surprise picks? I don't know. I kind of went off the board from the draft networks. Obviously, I'm a little bit of a football stickler. I feel like I have different rankings than what they had. Snowden going in the first, Trask going in the first, Marco Wilson going in the first, Bateman in the first, Trey Lance in the first, Tufele in the first, Xavier Thomas that high. But I mean, that's kind of where I'm feeling. So how do you guys feel about this for all your teams? I think it's just someone that loves college football like me with the uncertainty. I don't know what's going on with college football with that coronavirus. Shout out to Ed Bassmaster, but I can't wait for it to return. I cannot wait for return. And this is my mock draft. So thank you guys for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.